Shalom, viewers. I'm glad to welcome us back to episode 2 of the teaching we have started, which is building young one for the Lord in the English Strength TV under the World Bright Ministry. To continue from where we have stopped, I told us that I spiritually diagnoses the global youth today, and I came up with 3 laboratory research which shows that our youth are distracted, and at the same time they are lazy, and at the same time there is a burden of predestination, of destiny that is pushing them around. Let me start today with a quote from Anonymous, which says that it is easy to build young ones than to repair old men. I can come again. It is easy to build young ones than to repair old men. So in the light of this quote, and I want to explain in details how our youth today are being distracted. When you're talking about distractions of our youth, you discover that you agree with me that environment you find yourself play a vital role in the value you grow up with. Environment is very pertinent in the grown up of a child. You see, you can't live better than your environment, than the environment you grow up with. Environment has greater influence in the build-up of young ones. So now, virtually everywhere today, our leaders, social leaders are encouraging immoral society. Part of what destroys our youth today globally are immorality, immoral society. Moral value is being destroyed every day, both in developed and underdeveloped and developing nations. And if you have youth, no matter the predestination, that grow under the immoral society, definitely they must be distracted. As if that is not enough, there are a lack of parenting values. These are another major distractions on the part of our youth. We have men and women today that just desire to marry just for marriage sake, to procreate children just for procreating sake. They have never thought it right to live an exemplary life as a man, as a woman, even in their relationship with one another within the spouse. They have never thought it to live an exemplary life for this young one to grow with. We have parents virtually everywhere in the world today that live careless life. They are drunks, they are promiscuous, they are violent against each other, women, verbal assault against the husband, physical assault against the wife, late recklessness, corruptions, name them. There's no way we can build a strong youth that can preserve our social value or religious value with this kind of environment. So as I'm saying today, when this generation, the present generations of the youth between 81 to 25 will take over the mantle of leadership socially in every part of the country, you will discover that we will have more wars than we're having it today. Because there is no environment socially that was created to build moral values into this youth. Then parental value also is collapsed. The worst part of it is the spiritual environment, so-called spiritual environment created by these spiritual leaders everywhere in the world. you discover that so many spiritual leaders, so many churches and house of worship today, we seem to have distracted from the original value of what that religion should be. Let me limit myself to Christianity. What has this youth has to learn in this spiritual gathering today we are taking them to? Is it immoral conduct of the spiritual leaders and the management teams in every local assemblies? Is it the greatness of spiritual leaders that is very obvious that these youth can see? Is it abuses of common worshippers by this spiritual leader, by verbal assaults on this common worshipper that came under them to pray, or abuse physical assaults that this youth will learn a good thing from? You see, the kind of spiritual houses we are floating today is a distraction to this youth. There's no way we can build under this spiritual environment strong men that God can use tomorrow for the Lord. So that is part of distraction. The laziness, our youth today everywhere. I want to generalize it. We have lack of guts for knowledge. Youth today are lazy to acquire knowledge. We acquire knowledge, and with that, and knowledge is power. You can't do more than what you know. Give me the most powerful society today. There might be collections of men and women who are well read, who have acquired knowledge, because to be more is to know more. So, and knowledge is being acquired through three major ways. Through readings. Give me all the great men in the history of humanity. Give me all these great leaders, men that have achieved a lot in their different field of endeavors, politically, scholarly, religiously, name them. They are people who are always hungry for reading, to know more. And here we have our youth today that are very lazy to read. Then hearing. Listening also is part of means of acquiring knowledge. You discover that hardly can you see, even the churches are not even encouraging it. You see, you discover that what are they hearing from the church? So hearing also, youth must be able to sit down under sermonizing and listen to the word of God and acquire more. You listen more so that you can know more. The third one is meditations. Meditations. Give me any great men today that will not wake up in the night to meditate, to ask for knowledge, to meditate, to think about future challenges or immediate challenges, and agonize in his thinking how to solve it. So until we have youth that can that can reserve their quality times to agonize about immediate or future problems, and agonizes on how to get measure by which they can tackle it, our youth can never be developed. So for us to have a very strong youth, they must be ready to read more, hear more, meditate more. So that's the way they can get out of the laziness. The third one is burden of predestinations. Burden of predestination is when you have a particular destiny to go to the west and you're on your way to the north. So definitely there will be a crisis. So many things will not go well with you, because come what may, destiny rules. And until you are back to the way destiny wants it, your way can never be prosperous. This is one of the major problems that is confronting our youth globally. Sure, next week I'm going to elaborate. Next episode, I'm going to elaborate more on the burden of predestinations. Until then, be with us, follow us, and God bless you. Shalom.